Hey, hello class. Today we're going to take notes on section 4.3. This is going to be day 1 of section 4.3, writing decimals as fractions. Okay, so yesterday you guys did changing fractions to decimals, which was fairly easy because you could just take the fraction and divide your numerator by your denominator to get the decimal. So now we're going to do the reverse. Now we have the decimals, we want to think about how to write those as fractions. Okay, so we have two different types of decimals that we could have. Either our terminating decimals, which are ones like 0.6, 0.52, 0.375. All of those are terminating because they end, and then the ones that keep going on forever with a repeating pattern, those are our repeating decimals. Okay, so first we'll talk about our terminating decimals. So when you have a terminating decimals, I'll point out right here, terminating decimals, you always put them out of 10, 100, 1,000, and so on. So the denominator depends on how many decimal places you have. So if you have one decimal place, you're going to put your decimal out of 10. If you have two numbers after your decimal place, you'll put it out of 100. Three numbers after your decimal place out of 1,000, and so on. So basically there are the same amount of zeros in your denominator as there are numbers in your numerator, okay, or numbers after your decimal, I should say. So the first one, 0.6. So what we do is we put the part that's after the decimal, the 6, we put that in the numerator. All right, and since there's one number after the decimal, we're going to put that out of 10. Okay, and again, when we read decimals, we sometimes say 0.6, but we read this 6/10 because that's the 10th spot. Okay, and then that would be the fraction. And now, as usual, when you write fractions, you always want to reduce them when possible. So 6 over 10, you can reduce those by dividing both of those by 2. So 6 divided by 2 would make 3, and 10 divided by 2 would make 5. So 0.6 would be 3/5 as a fraction. All right, now we're going to skip to C here. We'll come back to B in a minute. 0.52. So this one has two numbers after the decimal place, so I'm going to place those two numbers in the numerator. So again, anything after the decimal, that's what you put in the numerator. And then since there's two decimal places, I'm going to put that over 100. So two decimal places, 2 zeros in the denominator. Okay? And then we can reduce this. So let's see. Both of those are even, so I could divide them by 2, which would make 26 out of 50. And then I notice, oh wait, those are both still even again. So if I divide by 2 again, I would get 13 out of 25. Okay, so we want to always make sure we reduce it all the way. All right, one more terminating decimal, 0.375. Okay, so 0.375, there are 3 numbers after the decimal, so I'm going to put those 3 numbers in the numerator, and then I'm going to put that out of 1,000. So 3 zeros for my 3 numbers here. All right, and then let's see this one. Well, it ends in 5 and 0, so I know it will be divisible by at least 5. Well, let's see. If I take 375 and I divide it by 5, I get 75. Okay, so I'm noticing 75 is still divisible by 5. So let's try dividing by 25 instead. So 375 divided by 25, we know is 15. Okay, and then if I take 1,000 and divide that by 5, I'm sure many of you can do that in your head, that would be 200. Okay, and that reduces even more. 15 over 200, I can still divide both of those by 5 even again. So if I divide that by 5 would be 3, and divide that by 5 would be 40. Right? Yeah. All right, so your reduced answer would be 3 over 40. What did I do there? I made a mistake somewhere. 1,000. Oh, I did 1,000 divided by 5. Oops, I'm sorry, guys. I made a little mistake there. I thought I made a mistake. Thought something looked wrong. So 1,000 divided by 25, that should have been a 40 up here. So my apologies. So make that 15 out of the 40. And then that changes the 3. When you divide that by 5, that would make this 3 over 8. I'm just going to cross that off completely. So 3 over 8 then is your final answer. Sorry about that. Okay.